Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So you are here on Friday. And Fridays here at Manfa's Makes is Crochet Catch Up. And that is where I fill you in on all the crochet that has happened in the last week. Now, you will have already seen Tile of the Week. That was yesterday's video. And if you haven't seen that one, please feel free after watching this one to go back and check it out. So, what have I been up to? Well, quite a bit this week because I had an unexpected week off. Wasn't planned, but it happened. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is my only FO for the week. And it's only a little one, but it still counts, right? So let me pull out of the bag everything that I need to talk about. So, as you may be aware, last week I did a washcloth using the Tunisian simple stitch following a tutorial by my wonderful yarny friend Lynanne over at Nina's Knots Crochet. If you are not familiar with Lynanne, please do go and check her out. I will put a link to her channel down in the description box. And I will also, if I remember, put a link to the tutorial for this week's Tunisian washcloth that I managed to do and complete. Now this week, Lynanne showed us how to do the Tunisian knit stitch. And this one was a little more involved than the last one. I got a little bit frustrated with this one because I'm all in for telling you my honest experiences, thoughts and opinions, but I did persevere and I did manage to complete a washcloth. Now my edges are a little bit wibbly wobbly. I'm obviously going to have to work on my tension on my edges. And also where I start is a bit loose and baggy as well. But for the first time of doing the Tunisian knit stitch, I don't think I did too bad. But remember, it's the first time and it took a couple of goes and a couple of times of frogging to get my head around it. It wasn't that I couldn't follow the tutorial. The tutorial was a breeze. Very detailed. Lynanne shows you exactly where you need to be putting your hook. It was just me. I was fudging up my stitch counts. So once I got over that little headache that I was causing for myself, it was plain sailing. Now the knit stitch in Tunisian, this took a lot longer to grow than the simple stitch, but it does produce a very beautiful fabric. And it does genuinely look like knitting. So again, I used my 6mm inexpensive aluminium Tunisian hook that I was gifted, and I believe it came from Amazon. Because I am a beginner, I have no plans at this stage to take my journey with Tunisian longer than this little adventure with Lynanne, but never say never. If I do take it further, I will invest in a better set of hooks, but until I reach the point where I'm like, yep, I want to go for it, only then will I get better tools. So to start off with, I am just using my inexpensive hooks, and this is a 6mm. I also dug around in my cotton tote, which is this top tote here that I'm pointing at. And I dug out some Lily's Sugar and Cream. This is a 4-weight, made in Canada from 100% USA cotton. 4.5mm knitting needles, 5mm crochet hook. The colour Potpourri Ombre. It is 2 ounces and 2 ounces or 56.7 grams, 95 yards or 86 meters. So Potpourri Ombre. Here is what I have left after making my washcloth. Now it is like a creamy beigey base, and then there are these little flecks of colour. There are some aquas, some lilacs and some pinks. So this will go back in my cotton tote because I could make another little something with the amount I've got left. But I did use a fair bit. As you can see, its yarn label is very loose. And here is my finished washcloth. Now, you cannot tell me that that does not look knitted. Isn't it incredible? Now, the curling is really irritating for me. It is a bit of an off-putting factor, but because this is a washcloth, I'm really not overly bothered. And because I did one washcloth last week in the simple stitch and I've done a second washcloth in the knit stitch this week, I did have to YouTube how to bind off or cast off, and I was left with this here. I don't know if that is normal for a Tunisian bind off or cast off, but it's what I've been left with, and it's fine. Again, it is just a washcloth, guys. It's absolutely fine. The back reminds me of the purl stitch in knitting. It's quite thick, quite squishy, quite a dense, tightly woven fabric, which is gorgeous. But as you can see, what I was saying about my wibbly wobbly wonky sides, I do have to work on my tension a little bit. But for a first attempt, I am quite pleased with myself, and it is an FO for the week. And there you can see the little speckles of colour playing out in the yarn. So thank you, Lynanne. That is another Tunisian stitch that I have tried, another washcloth for my house, and another delve into Tunisian, which is one of my 24 goals for 2024. So I'm not going to say that that one can be completely ticked off yet because I've only tried 2 stitches, and I believe next week we will be trying the Tunisian purl stitch. And then I think Lynanne's got ideas of making an item using the stitches we have learned. Now, I don't know if I will commit to making that Tunisian item, but I will definitely do a 3rd washcloth with the 3rd stitch next week. So remember, check out Lynanne. It's not just Tunisian that she does, guys. She crochets, she does a little bit of knitting, fabulous yarn hauls. For Christmas recently, she did Vlogmas. She had an advent calendar that she gifted to her hubby, and her hubby opened it every day. Just yarny talks about her whips and her FOs. She has always got something cooking, and I really, really enjoy my time over on Lynanne's channel. So if you are looking for someone new to follow, please go and check her out. Spread the yarny love. If you are familiar of Lynanne, let me know down in the comments. Are you delving into Tunisian Tuesdays with her as well? I would really like to know. And Lynanne, if you're watching, how did I do? Is it passable, teacher, for the first attempt? I hope so. I did try, and as you know, I'm not keen on this whole Tunisian thing, but I'm giving it a good go. So the only FO for the week, but it still counts in my book. And I weaved in my ends, so it definitely counts, right? Okay, so that was the first project to share with you. The next project that I am going to share with you is another of my 24 goals for 2024, is to always have a cinnamon stitches pattern on my hooks. And as you know, I finished my Mulberry Street shawl last week, so I needed a new cinnamon stitches pattern to put on my hooks, and that is exactly what I did, and it's in this bag here. So let me just get out the bits and pieces that I need to share with you. And I have already got a fair way in. Now this is a work in progress. It is not an FO as of yet, but at least it is on my hooks, and I am achieving another of my 24 goals for 2024, because by the end of last week, guys, I was in a bit of a slump. I was in a bit of a funk. I really didn't know what I wanted to crochet, and if you came to my live last Saturday, you will know that I was in a bit of a space, but I quickly rectified that, and you will see all of those rectifications during the course of this video. So I was flicking through Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches tutorial playlist. If you're not familiar with Cinnamon Stitches, where have you been? I believe nearly every single one of you watching on my channel, which is itty bitty, do already know about Jennifer and her fabulous channel. But just on the off chance that you don't, go check her out. I'll leave her link in my description box as well. And I was in a bit of a quandary. I didn't know what I wanted to make, but I knew I had to get another Cinnamon Stitches pattern on my hooks. And in the end, I settled for a crochet apron. Now, in my daily life, I don't really use aprons, but I was thinking to myself, it may still be a handy item to have about the house. Maybe for baking, maybe for gardening, like Jennifer said she was going to use hers for. It could have a multitude of uses. So I thought, you know what? Let's get an apron on the hooks. And that's exactly what I have done. Now, I chose some of my chunkier yarn in my stash. Oh, and I forgot to mention that this washcloth also counts for Stash Down 2024 because it was yarn used in my stash. And also Stash Before Cash. All of these will count for Stash Down 2024 and Stash Before Cash. Let's just do a blanket, all of it. Okay, so I was looking for some of my chunkier yarns because I didn't want this to take too long to work up. And I don't use a lot of the chunkier yarns. I am most comfortable in the 2 and 3 weights. I will use a 4 weight, and bigger than a 4, lower than a 2 is where I'm a little bit rocky, but 2, 3s and 4s are my comfort zone. Now, this yarn says it's a 4, but to me it is a very, very chunky 4. It's a thicker 4. So I'm going to classify it more as a 5 personally for me. But then you've got to remember, guys, I am from the UK, and as a general rule of thumb, our yarn thicknesses are always on the thinner side of your guys across the pond. What I mean by that is I have used some of the USA yarns that are a 4 weight, and for me, they appear more to be on the thicker 4 weight, nearly a 5 weight, and I think that's what's going on with this yarn as well. Sneak peek, this is the yarn I'm using, so if you don't like pink, you're not going to like this item. And our DKs, our 3 weights, are quite thin for a 3 weight, whereas your guys seem to have a bit more flesh on the bones. So I am used to my yarns here in the UK running thinner than some of the other yarns. So it was a surprise to me that this 4 weight was quite a nice fleshy 4 weight. And I got this yarn from the Knitting Network. It is ABC yarn Diddy Donuts. There is the yarn band there. The colour is Raspberry Sprinkle. It recommends a 5.5 to 6 millimeter knitting needle because it's from the Knitting Network, so there's no crochet hook recommendation. 100 grams, 116 meters or 127 yards, 100% acrylic, made in Turkey. Wash up to 30 degrees Celsius. Do not iron, do not tumble, do not bleach. And I have already used 2 of these donuts in the apron, and I've got my 3rd donut attached. So it is literally, guys, the size that I want, and I'm not going to give any specifics on this because if you want to know how to make this apron, head on over to Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches channel. I will put a link to this tutorial in particular down in the description box as well. She will let you know how to make it, but it is easy breezy so far. And here is the beginnings of my apron, and just look how that yarn patterns. Forgive my ends, I have not weaved them in yet, but then I am still working on it. It's a work in progress, and it is a lovely mixture of this variegated and 2 shades of pink, and I think it's quite fun. My intentions for this is it's going to be a wrap around the waist apron and cover like the bottom half of my tummy, the front of the top of my legs, and some of my thighs, because that is the area that gets the most dirty when I'm doing household chores. So I'm going to put the 3rd ball of the raspberry sprinkle in, and then I think I will be at the width that I want it to be. And then, as a fun little touch, there is going to be a pocket added. I'm going to put a little bit of a trim around it, I think, and there are straps to obviously tie around your waist. So I need to finish the body of the apron, add straps, add trim, add pocket. But this is the last of the raspberry sprinkle that I've got. So I wanted to have fun with this, go completely out of left field, and introduce the same type of yarn but in a different colourway, just to give it a pop on the pocket, a pop on the straps, and a pop on the trim that I'm going to put on it. And I'm going to use this colourway, which is more blues, aquas, lilacs and purples. And this colourway is blackberry sprinkle. And as you can see, there are 2 shades of purple, these aquas and turquoises, and these light blues and lilacs as the base colour. So this colourway, like I said, is going to be those accent colours for the pocket, the trim and the straps. Because it's my apron, I can do what I want with what colours I want. And I just thought that because there is purple in this one, pull out the purple by using this one, but have enough of a contrast with the blues for you to really notice those accents on the actual apron. So, Cinnamon Stitches apron on my hooks, well underway. I'm super happy and pleased with it so far. And I do have 2 of these because I'm not quite sure how much yarn it's going to take for me to do the pocket, the straps and the trim. And like I said, I've already put 2 of the raspberry sprinkle into the apron so far, 3rd one attached. And for this project, I am using my 5.5 millimeter dots, and this is lilac as well. So even my hook coordinates. That's more luck than judgment, but loving it. I will have a useful item at the end of it, and I am eating more of my stash. So it's tick, 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 which is something that I am endeavouring to do. I am trying to tick off as many of my 24 goals for 2024. I want to use as much of my stash as I can, and I don't want to make things just for making them sake. I want them to have a purpose this year. So I believe I am achieving that. Right. Now, the next thing, I also put on my 24 goals for 2024 to donate to a charity. And I have recently found a charity to donate to. So bear with me just a second, guys, while I get all my bits and pieces to show you. My hooks. Okay, it's all kind of buried down in my bag, so bear with me, guys, bear with me. I'm getting there. I am getting there. Where have the rest of you gone? Come on. Okay. You might have got a sneak peek then. Right. So, the charity that I am going to be donating to this year. Now, I'm not going to make a pledge that I am going to send hundreds of items in and a certain amount every month. And no, what I'm saying is when I have the opportunity to, and when I have the chance to, I will be making some things to eventually donate. And at the end of the year, there will be a running total of everything that I have managed to donate, but I'm not going to put any boundaries or parameters on that. It's just going to be as and when I can. So the charity that I have found is called Needles and Hooks, Angels and Premies. They are based in Newcastle, which is further up north than me. So they are going to have to be posted. But I'm just going to read you the blurb that's on their Facebook group page. It says, "We are a non-profit making organisation. Everything we do is done because we care. We do not sell, we donate. We are a group of people who knit, crochet and sew angel and preemie items to be donated to hospitals and families of angel and preemie babies. Currently, we send to 240 hospitals in the UK, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, adding more each week as we grow. We also send out rainbow baby packs. This is a baby born after the loss of a baby. These goes to hospitals and can be requested. We also support various children's hospitals, children and adults with cancer, the homeless, dementia patients, the autistic, children and adults with brain injuries through our crafting. By donating your wonderful creations or by sending us yarn, buttons, ribbons, materials, wedding dresses that get turned into angel gowns, or items we can use to fundraise to help us cover postage, as we are a non-profit self-funded group of friendly people. Even sharing our group pages helps by spreading the word of what we do." They have an Amazon wish list. They accept donations to help towards postage. They've got a website. There's the address for donations to be sent to. There is telephone numbers and email addresses. And it says at the bottom, disclaimer, "We will not accept any responsibility for any item sent to any person unless a member of the admin team has been consulted." Now, they make many, 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 many different items. And I don't know exactly everything that I'm going to send this year. I have the list of things that they make. And I am going to be jumping in when it's something that I feel that I can make and donate myself. Now, the Sunday just gone, there was a post put up in the Facebook group asking for rainbow coloured hexagons. Now, and that was the cotton tote that we talked about just now, but underneath that is my tote of Stylecraft Special DK, and that is left over from what used to be the only yarn stash I had. And I was digging around in there, because ideally they like the 3-weight yarns, to find the colours of the rainbow that they had requested. And I have every colour that they need apart from purple. So at some point I am going to have to go and get a skein of purple, because I do not want to send all the colours of the rainbow and omit purple. So yellow, orange, red, pink, green, blue and purple are the colours that they requested. So I dug around and I found balls of each colour in my Stylecraft stash. Now I have this yellow, which is citron, and I have started making some of the hexagons out of the citron. They need to be 6-inch hexagons, and they did post a pattern on the thread on Facebook, which I hand wrote and I'm following through my notes. But 6-inch hexagons, and obviously made in the different solid colours. They don't want variegated hexagons, they want the solid colours. So I've made a good chunk of yellow, and I still have some yellow to go. I have made a start on the orange, and I believe this shade of orange is called Clementine. And I have made 3 Clementine ones. And then I just made a start with the red because I was getting bored of just using the same colour. I intend to make as many hexagons as I can out of each skein, so each skein is going to be used in its entirety anyway. So I thought, let's change it up, switch it up, and just change to the colours as I fancied. So at the moment on my wool genie, I have got the Matador, the bright red, and I've got only 2 of those done. And I haven't even begun with the blue, and the blue I picked is actually called turquoise because I wanted bright rainbow colours. The green that I have selected is grass green, and then the pink is called Fiesta, but there's no yarn band, and that is being blown out horrifically. It is actually a bright hot pink. And like I said, I do not have any purple left in my stash. So the next time I go to town, I will pop into the local yarn store and get 1 skein of purple. And I plan to do as many of these 6-inch hexagons as I can out of this 1 ball of each colour. And once I have done all of the skeins, I will get them packaged up and sent off. Now you're probably shouting at the screen, but what are the hexagons going to be used for, Manfa? They will be stitched together at Needles and Hooks, Angels and Premies, NHAP for short. They will be stitched together at NHAP headquarters and turned into rainbow blankets. Those rainbow blankets will be given to families after they have had a baby following the loss of a baby beforehand. So these will be rainbow baby blankets, but they will be stitched together at headquarters. So I am happy to make the hexagons because I am sure stitching hexagons together is pretty similar to stitching squares together, and we all know that Manfa doesn't like the sewing together, but she likes the making of the squares or the hexagons. And actually, guys, this is the first time that I have done hexagons. I have never crocheted hexagons before, so that is a tick in, you know, something new. It is a tick that I will be donating to a charity, so that gets that off my 24 goals for 2024. And I feel like my stash, rather than sitting in a box doing nothing, is going to be loved and valued and appreciated by the recipients. Now the hooks I am using are my 4.5 and my 5mm dots, because I have found, depending on the day that I pick them up, my tension changes and they need them to be 6 inches. So I swap between these 2 sizes to ensure that the hexagons end up 6 inches. So that is the first thing that I am going to be donating to NHAP, Needles, Hooks, Angels and Premies. They do require lots and lots and lots of other items, things from blankets to nursing squares to cardigans to hats. You name it, there is a big long list. But like I said, in the Facebook group last Sunday, they put up a post. It was called the Sunday Challenge, and they let us know that they are in need of the different rainbow coloured hexagons. And I thought, that's easy enough. In between projects, or when I've only got 20 minutes, I can get a hexagon made. So that is the plan for the charity hexagons. So I made a start on those this week, and I will keep you up to date on my progress of those. Now I've got one more thing to show you guys, and then I'm going to let you get on your way. You guys may know somebody on these YouTube streets called GNOME Creations. If you don't, I will put her channel link down in my description box. If you don't know Nova, you seriously are missing out. Anyone that I have mentioned today, they are fabulous women. I love them to bits. I watch every video that they put out and I support them wholeheartedly, 100%, and I am so proud to be able to call them my friends. But Nova in particular, back a couple of my lives ago, was double dog dared. Now, I bet you can all guess who was the person that double dog dared her. She is renowned for it on these YouTube streets. Her name is either Laura, Lala, Mad Mimi, Egg Beggar, just to name a few. And her channel is Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming. And she was also egged on by my YouTube mummy, Lady Jan, and Alaskan Crafter Jan. I will link both of those fabulous ladies down in my description box as well. So Auntie Lala and Mama Jan double dog dared Nova GNOME to do something on her channel. Now this was back at the end of December, I believe, maybe the very beginning of January. And Nova GNOME has gracefully accepted that double dog dare challenge, and she is currently hosting it over on her channel. Now you may know that Nova GNOME does Gnome of the Month. Well, she was asked to do a Gnome of the Month with a twist. Now, if any of you watching me are easily offended, do not like crude or smutty themed, adult themed talk, then this next item is not for you. So if you don't want to know about the adult themed smutty item in question, thank you for watching up to this point. No judgment whatsoever, but click off and I will see you in the next one. That is your one and only warning. For the rest of you that do want to know what the adult themed and smutty item in question is, Nova GNOME was double dog dared, challenged, however you want to word it, to do, like I said, a risque adult themed gnome. You need to head over to Nova GNOME's channel and you need to watch her video explaining this in a little more detail to understand where this is going. I haven't actually done the adult themed part of this object yet. You're going to have to wait until hopefully next week when it's done. But if you need to know now, then you need to head over to Nova GNOME's channel. And I think if I can, no promises, but if I can, I will find Nova's video explaining this in more detail and put the link to that video down below so you can find it just like that. Well, Nova, Auntie Lala and Mama Jan, you will be pleased to know that I am sticking to my word and I am joining in with this as well. Also, Auntie Lala, I said that I would make this and send it to you, and I fully intend on keeping that promise also. So there isn't a lot to see this week from me. I am just putting out those little seeds of Manfa is joining in with Nova. What she is making will be sent to Auntie Lala, but you'll have to come back in a future episode of Crochet Catch Up to see the finished piece and to understand where the adult theme comes in, because this week I didn't get to that bit yet, okay? But I will show you what I did get to, and I very rarely blow my own trumpet when it comes to my crochet. In fact, I am my worst critique. I am my own worst enemy. I am my harshest critic, and I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, and I'm always being told off for that by you guys and my other yarny friends. So just for once, I am actually going to toot my own horn, and I am going to say that I am proud as punch, because what I am about to show you, I have completely free-handed. I have not followed a pattern for any of it so far. and I actually plan to make the whole thing free-handed out of my own head, just playing around with my yarn and seeing if I can make a creation without following someone else's pattern. Now, obviously, I will tell you that it is amigurumi because it's gnome of the month, so I am making an amigurumi gnome. And obviously, now that I have been doing amigurumi for about 3 years, you take the basic principles that you learn in doing the skill of amigurumi, and you are then able to take those basics and create whatever you want. And that is what I am doing here, guys. There is no pattern, it came out of my head, but I do have quite a wealth of experience to draw on to be able to create this. So, are you ready to meet the beginnings of my gnome that has come out of my head? I am not following a pattern. It is my own design so far. And just a word of warning, he's completely naked at the moment. Here we go. Meet Colin. There he is, my little naked gnome. I have not attached the hat yet. There he is, let's see. There is my little naked gnome. And Mike said before I put the nose and the arms on, it reminded him of the Coneheads. Have any of you seen that weird alien Conehead film? Well, that's what he said the shape of my gnome reminded him of. So he is going to have his little hat, and it's orange because he's going to go and live with Auntie Lala one day soon. But I have more to add to Colin. So stay tuned for what else I am going to be adding to my naked gnome. And that is all I am going to say about that. So here he is. And guys, going back to my cotton scrap tote up there, I just pulled out various cottons from my stash to make Colin here. I finished one skein, so there's another label for my yarn band labels for the year. All of this again counts for Stash Down 2024 and Stash Before Cash. All of the things that I have shown you tonight have. And I just pulled out various shades of pinks. There may be a bit of white that comes into play, I'm not sure yet. And the orange for his hat. Because if he's going to go and live with Auntie Lala, the least he can do is dress in her favourite colour, right? So there is my free-handed, totally from my own brain, Colin the Naked Gnome with his orange hat. So there we have it. I'm so proud of him. The fact that I have not followed a pattern and made an obvious object. Like, if there is anyone out there that can't tell that this is a gnome, then this is a gnome. But I think the majority of you will be able to tell me that you know for a fact that this is a gnome. But he has a few little details still left to add. And I am going to leave that there. For this one, I am using my 3mm dots. And again, the hook is orange. My hooks seem to be colour coordinating with my projects. So, there we have it. That is what I have been up to this week. An FO with the Tunisian knit stitch washcloth. My cinnamon stitches apron, my charity hexagons, and Colin the Naked Gnome. So, what a variety of things to show you, but I hope you enjoyed it. I know I've kept you for the best part of 40 minutes, so I am going to let you head on out. Please come back tomorrow, because tomorrow there is a bonus video, which is a stitch tutorial. I have done another stitch tutorial for you guys, so if you could please check it out and give me your feedback in the comments of that video, I would really appreciate it. And also head back tomorrow, because our live at 4 p.m. Eastern, straight after Granny D, is in fact our 2-year podiversary. Woohoo! So if you would like to come and celebrate with us, please feel free, share it out, get your friends round. It isn't going to be prize after prize after prize, but there are going to be a few little giveaways sprinkled in, and we're just going to have a really awesome time with you all to celebrate 2 fantabulous years on this channel, which would not have been possible without each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Come and celebrate if you can. And then that is all I can remember for the planning for the next couple of days. So thank you for your time catching up with me today. I really do appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow in the stitch tutorial, or tomorrow afternoon at my house, 4 p.m. Eastern, for our 2-year podiversary. Mike will be there for a bit as well. And I hope you have a fabulous weekend ahead. But for now, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafty time in. I will see you in the next one, or around the YouTube streets. Bye guys, love you loads.